This is a First Coast News special report.
I'm Keitha Nelson here live in downtown Brunswick. We right now are just getting word about a verdict possibly being in this case. We're interrupting your programming right now. So we again are in front of the Glynn County Courthouse. This is where the trial is underway for 3 men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery. We know that shooting happened back in February of 2020. Fast forward now to November of 2021. And again, folks, we are hearing now after 6 weeks of this trial that a verdict is now in. Now that just came in. I can tell you right at about 1:20 or so, we started to see people starting to pour into the area there in front of the Glynn County Courthouse. We saw a lot of movement, so we figured something was going on, and then we got word again that a verdict is in. So right now you're taking a live look inside of the courtroom where we are waiting to see the judge. We're told that he is set to arrive in there at about 1:30, so that's just in a couple of minutes. We will hear from him. We know that he will then bring in the jurors, and then we should again hear the verdict in this case. So let's take you over right now the charges for these 3 men, the 3 defendants right now on trial. We're talking about Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan. All of these men face 9 charges, and if convicted, they could face up to life in prison. So we're going to briefly go over those charges for you. Now, count 1 is malice murder. That is defined by Georgia's law as killing someone deliberately and without provocation. If convicted on this particular count, the defendants could face a life sentence. Now, the next is 4 charges. Counts 2 through 5 are what's known as felony murder, also punishable, folks, by life in prison. Felony murder occurs when someone dies during the commission of a felony, which in this particular case are counts 6 through 9. Those counts include aggravated assault with a shotgun and aggravated assault with a pickup truck, false imprisonment, and attempted false imprisonment. Those particular counts could get the defendants anywhere from 1 to 20 years. Now, I could tell you what happened a little bit earlier when we saw the family walk into the courthouse. We got to speak with a few people, one of them being Benjamin Crump. Benjamin Crump we've heard from several times throughout this trial. He's actually come here to downtown Brunswick, to the courthouse, to speak with the Arbery family, pray with them. Now, we spoke with him just before he entered the courthouse, and he had a pretty powerful comment about this trial. We're going to get to him in just a bit. First, though, we want to give you a live look right outside of the courthouse as we're looking at right now. As you can see, folks are just swarming around. This is media we're seeing here, as well as a lot of demonstrators. Some of these demonstrators, folks, I could tell you, have been out here since the very beginning when this trial began 6 weeks ago. Others we know are from all across the country, all of them anxiously waiting to see what will happen in this trial, as again, 3 men face the possibility of life in prison. Now, we want to toss things over to On Your Side's Kaylee Tracy, who, as well as those demonstrators, have been here since the very beginning. In fact, Kaylee has been covering this case since the shooting happened back in 2020. Let's toss things over to her now for the very latest in what we're hearing inside of the courtroom. Kaylee.
Keitha, we just got some notes in from the pool reporters who are inside the courtroom now. They're telling us that the family has just arrived in the courtroom. They're squeezing in and to the courtroom and to, of course, the overflow room there. We know that immediate family members are in the gallery along with their attorneys, Benjamin Crump and Lee Merritt. And we're hearing again that they just went into the courtroom there. They're awaiting the judge and this verdict. I can tell you, just walking over here to come talk to you, to do this live shot, we saw a lot of demonstrators who had been out here all day. Some went to go get lunch. They all sprinted over here and are now waiting here behind me in front of the courthouse, awaiting this verdict. Many of them say they are here to witness history. We have talked to some families here who traveled from Atlanta, Georgia, with 2 small young children who said they wanted their children to come see and witness this day. Again, they're calling this history. We've also seen a larger police presence out here today. They're kind of securing some of the surroundings of the courthouse and the area around the courthouse here, deputies, and of course they have barricades up in front of the courthouse. We know that the past few days they have had them up here, but again, we are awaiting this verdict, and I'm going to toss things back to you, Keitha.
All right, thanks for that, Kelly. We want to go right inside of the courthouse now where the judge is currently sitting on the bench. He's going to address the court. Let's listen in right now. again, what you're looking at right now is the judge. He is waiting at this point. We have heard that there is a verdict currently in. He is going to call in the jury members. They will be seated. We'll hear from the foreman on this verdict that again has been reached. So we're going to take you back a bit to how this all started. Back in February of 2020, Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old young man, was shot and killed in the Satilla Shores neighborhood of Brunswick, Georgia. Shot by Travis McMichael, who's a young man who lives in that area. Also on the scene, one of the defendants here, Gregory McMichael, which is Travis's father, and a neighbor involved in all of this, William Roddy Bryan. William actually video recorded all of this, the actual shooting. He did this on his cell phone. That video, we know, was released to the public. It's something that so many people have seen again and again. And right now, if you are watching what is going on inside of the courthouse, we're talking about William Roddy Bryan, and there he is right there sitting next to his attorney, Kevin Goff. We've heard from many times. Kevin Goff throughout this trial have said some things that have really infuriated a lot of people, I could tell you, on social media. He made a call asking to not see any more black pastors inside of the courthouse, and that resulted in nearly 700 black pastors converging here in Glynn County. Just last week, we saw so many of them. They came here for a prayer vigil, praying for the Arbery family. Again, this is a wider shot you're looking at right now. You are seeing two of the other defendants in this case. There is Travis McMichael and Gregory McMichael. So let's listen in right now as the jurors are brought in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Madam Foreperson, I understand you have reached a verdict as to each defendant.
We have.
If you could please hand your verdict forms to the sheriff. I'm going to go ahead and address each one of these verdict forms separately. The first verdict form I have is the State of Georgia versus Travis McMichael. Mr. McMichael, please stand. Verdict is as follows. In the Superior Court of Glynn County, State of Georgia, the State of Georgia versus Travis McMichael, case number CR 000433. Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. I'm going to ask that whoever just made an outburst be removed from the court, please. As this court has indicated, I ask that there be no outbursts in the court, and I expect as much from the gallery. Please respect the court's desire for this as we move forward. If you feel like you need to make a comment or otherwise demonstrate with respect to the verdict, I do ask that you step out of the courtroom now. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 3, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 4, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 5, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 8, false imprisonment. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Count 9, criminal attempt to commit a felony. We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty. Dated this 24th day of November, 2021, signed by the foreperson. Have a seat. As to Gregory McMichael, in the Superior Court of Glynn County, the state of Georgia versus Greg McMichael, case number CR20000433. Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael not guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 3, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 4, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 5, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 8, false imprisonment. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. Count 9, criminal attempt to commit a felony. We, the jury, find the defendant Greg McMichael guilty. This 24th day of November, 2021, signed by the foreperson. As to William R. Bryan, in the Superior Court of Glynn County, state of Georgia versus William R. Bryan, case number CR20000433. Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan not guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan not guilty. Count 3, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan guilty. Count 4, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan guilty. Count 5, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan not guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan guilty. Count 8, false imprisonment. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan guilty. Count 9, criminal attempt to commit a felony. We, the jury, find the defendant William R. Bryan guilty. Signed this 24th day of November by the foreperson. Go ahead and have a seat. Court having read the verdicts and accepted the verdicts, anything from the state?
No, Your Honor, nothing from the state.
Anything from the defense?
We ask the jury be polled, Your Honor.
Do all defendants ask the jury be polled? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask each of you individually a set of 2 questions with respect to the verdicts that I have just read. If you could please respond when you hear your juror number. Juror number 1, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, sir.
Juror number 2, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes,
sir. Okay, 2. Juror number 3, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes.
Juror number 4, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, sir.
Juror number 5, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 7, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 8, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 9, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 10, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 11, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 12, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, Your Honor.
And juror 16, you have heard the verdicts read. Were these your verdicts then, and are these your verdicts now?
Yes, sir.
The jury has been polled. Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
From Greg McMichael?
No, Your Honor.
From Mr. Bryan?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what that means with the court having accepted your verdict is that your role in this case is now at an end. What we're going to do today is I'm going to have all of you, the panel and the 3 alternates, go ahead and retire into the jury room. I'm going to address a couple matters logistically with you in the jury room once we get done here. But before we do that, and before I excuse you, I do want to thank you publicly for your service here in Glenn County. It has been a long trial, and I appreciate the fact that you have been attentive. You've listened to the evidence, and that is what we ask in this court. It's a very simple ask in a very complex way, so it's appreciated. When we all got together, I say we all got together, when we got together at different times, I said that I was going to thank you a number of times and how I was going to tell you I do truly appreciate your time here. Hopefully you understand why I said that when we started. I do also hope that you got a little bit of an insight into what goes on in a trial and maybe understand a little bit more of how important it is for members of our community to come down and be part of this process and serve as jurors in this community. So again, thank you for that service. And I'll come address you all in just a moment. You're excused.
All right, for the jury.
It is very loud where I am right now. I'm hoping that we can get you a shot in front of the courthouse where we have heard the people there, demonstrators, just erupt in cheering, a lot of people chanting. They have finally gotten justice for Ahmaud. That is something that you can listen in right now. We're going to try to get you there to in front of the courthouse. So if you're just now joining us, you heard from the judge there. We heard from the jury after deliberating for 6 hours yesterday. And then today, Travis McMichael has been found guilty on all counts, including malice murder and felony murder. Now, on those 2 counts, there are mandatory life sentences in prison. As for his father, Gregory McMichael, he was found not guilty on malice murder, but for felony murder, he was found guilty. Now, that particular charge does come with a mandatory life sentence. With William Roddy Bryan, the neighbor who used that cell phone video to capture all of this, he was found not guilty for malice murder and felony murder, those 2 charges that come with mandatory life sentences, but guilty on many of the other charges, which we will get into. But as I mentioned, right now we are seeing in front of the house people just erupting again with chanting and cheering. This is something that many people have been waiting for now more than a year. They say they wanted justice for Ahmaud, and apparently, according to this crowd and what we see right now, they feel as if they have received justice. Even inside of the courtroom, when we heard these charges read, we heard someone yell out inside of the courtroom. The judge did speak to them about them, tell them to contain themselves. But out here in front of the courthouse, they're allowed to be as loud and expressive as possible. And we did see Travis Michael as well. When we heard those counts being read aloud, that he was guilty on all of them, we saw him let out a deep sigh and put his head down. But again, I mentioned what's going on in front of the courthouse. We're going to get right out to Renata Gregorio right now, who is in the thick of things. Let's turn things over to her now. Renata.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, Keith, a huge celebration out here. You can hear there's the speakerphone out here. They had a stereo that was broadcasting across this whole area what the verdict was, and each thing got a huge cheer, except for some people kind of shook their heads and said what when they heard about Roddy Bryan's verdict. As for everything going on, let's listen in for just 1 second.
As these black so-called leaders are done.
So these are the ones that have been bringing a lot of the speakers every single day. And this is how it's been going since the verdicts were reached. Huge celebration out here. I can't say that enough. There were people who were sitting on the ground. People had their hands clasped together. Some people were jumping up and down. We're going to talk to two of those people. Hey, I'm not sure where your friend went, but you guys were just jumping up and down. How did you feel in that moment?
I'm so excited. I really thought the justice system was going to fail us, but they didn't. I cried. I was so excited. It's just a great moment to be here right now.
What does this verdict mean to you specifically?
It just means justice for the black community. Justice. They really hunted him down, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we've been talking with people this whole time since this has happened who've been saying the same thing. We talked with a few who say that they've lived here their entire lives. They've known the entire Arbery family, and this is their celebration right now. Very loud. We're expecting it to be for a bit out here. But we're going to toss things back to you, Keitha.
And that right there was Renata Gregorio, who you were hearing from in front of the Glenn County Courthouse right now. To give you an idea of what's going on, I'm on the other side right now, but we're still hearing a lot of people, as I said, erupting in cheering and chanting. You're hearing Ahmaud Arbery's name said again and again. A lot of people are excited because, again, if you're just now joining us, Travis McMichael has been found guilty on counts 1 of malice murder and felony murder. Now, both of those charges come with mandatory life sentences in prison. As for his father, Gregory McMichael, he's been found not guilty of malice murder, but guilty for felony murder. That comes with a mandatory life sentence. As for William Roddy Bryan, who actually recorded the video on his cell phone of Ahmaud Arbery's death, he has been found not guilty for malice murder and felony murder, but guilty on many of the other charges, which we'll get into in just a bit. First, so we want to turn things over now to On Your Side's Kaylee Tracy.
Keitha, I want to read you an email that we just got from the pool reporter inside the courtroom there about Travis McMichael's reaction to that verdict being read. We're told that he was red-faced. He looked at his mother, who was sitting in the gallery, and mouthed, "I love you." And his sister was sitting there right next to his mother. We're told Lee McMichael, that is his mother, was in tears in the courtroom as that verdict was read. Now, I want to give you the reaction from Ahmaud Arbery's family as well. We're hearing from pool reporters inside the courtroom that Ahmaud Arbery's mother mouthed a silent prayer right before the verdict was read. And then I'm going to read you exactly what this pool note says that we've been getting all week. This one just coming out moments ago. It says, as the first guilty verdict was read aloud, Wanda Cooper Jones sobbed aloud, oh, and sunk her head into her chest as she wept, with the Reverend Al Sharpton there holding her hand and the hand of Ahmaud Arbery's father. On the other side of him, Marcus Arbery Sr. there. And we also heard, as Keitha said, we heard somebody cheer in the courtroom. The judge did say that there could not be any outbursts in the courtroom, and that person was asked to leave the courtroom. And we're hearing that Marcus Arbery Sr., he was the one who leapt up in his seat and cheered as that guilty verdict was read. The sheriff's deputies, this note from the pool reporter says, did come over and tell him to leave. He told them, apparently from the pool reporter, he told the sheriff's deputies, quote, "It has been a long time coming," and then he left the courtroom. But you can hear here behind me, I'm going to step aside, you can see people out there still, as Renata was saying. I'm just going to let it breathe for a little bit and just hear this cheering of this crowd out here, who, again, as the woman Renata interviewed said, they have been waiting for a long time for this. And actually, I'm seeing some of Ahmaud Arbery's aunts walk out of the courthouse right now to these cheers. I'll just let you listen in to these cheers for a second.
Hey, could we
Keitha, I'm going to toss things back to you, and we're going to see if we can go talk to the family over there.
Kaylee Tracy there in front of the Glynn County Courthouse. As you heard there, she actually is going to have a chance to speak with some of the family members of Ahmaud Arbery, who, as you can imagine, they are just elated that finally we have gotten a verdict in all of this. And as you heard, Travis McMichael and his father as well, they're found guilty in this, as well as William Roddy Bryan, not guilty on all charges for him, but many of them, which we'll get into in just a bit. But Travis, the person who pulled the trigger, pulling the trigger of that shotgun, killing, again, found guilty on all 9 charges, including malice murder and felony murder. Both of those charges come with mandatory life sentences. That is something that we have heard from the Ahmaud Arbery's family, saying that that is what they want. They want justice in this case. Justice for them is for these men to be found guilty and not be able to walk the streets of Glynn County again after, they say, murdering their loved one. As I mentioned, when we heard the count of guilty from Travis McMichael inside of the courtroom, we heard eruption inside of the courtroom. Someone yelled out inside and outside as well. We're going to toss things over now to On Your Side, Renata DiGregorio, who is there in front of the Glynn County Courthouse with more reaction from people there, these demonstrators. Renata.
Hey, Keitha, yeah, same thing out here. You can look over here, same people, they are saying his name, they're chanting Ahmaud Arbery, all kinds of stuff going on. People are still jumping up and down, they're celebrating. There's a lot of talk with Linda. So Linda, can you tell us a little bit about, you said you were here for weeks, just how do you feel right now with there's a verdict?
Well, actually, I was here last week for the Black Pastors Rally. I went back home to Atlanta and I returned yesterday. My plan was not to leave until a verdict came out. That was the plan. So the verdict came today. I'm so happy for the Arbery family, Wanda Cooper Jones, this community, the entire community. We don't want that here. You know, this is a small community. We grew up together. Everybody knows everybody. And we just want peace here. Peace.
I know that a lot of people have been saying too, soon all these guys are going to be gone, the cameras will be gone, you guys will still be here, Brunswick will still be here. How will it change?
How would what?
How do you think Brunswick will change, if you think it will?
Brunswick has already changed. I was in a restaurant last night when there was a diverse group of people in there, and that diverse people didn't want this. We don't want that here. This is a coastal town. We love shrimp. We love seafood. We love the crab off the side of the bridge. You know, we wave and speak to everybody. We just want this community to be how it's always been, a good, loving community.
You look like you wanted to add on to that at all. Would you like to say how you feel?
For justice for this young man, and I'm happy for the family because no one deserves this. He didn't deserve this. He died doing something that he loved to do, job, and it's sad, you know.
What do you think this could mean for just the country moving forward? I know people have been talking about that a lot.
I think it's just to bring a lot of unity, you know, just a lot of unity towards race. You know what I'm saying? It should be no such thing as people are different. We all believe the same.
Do you see this as a turning point?
Yes, I do.
Thank you for talking with us. All right, so those are...
Good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have a good Thanksgiving too. A lot of people are saying that as well. They are also very glad that a verdict came today, so now they can go home, spend Thanksgiving with their families, and not worry about this. If we could give you kind of a walk-around look at what everything is like right now, it might be a little difficult to walk that far because there are so many people, but that tells you something right there. Over here on the right side of the courthouse, when you're facing the courthouse, it's where we have the people with the megaphones, the loudest people. There's a man right in here that I see. He has the overalls. We were talking with his family earlier, actually. There's the 2 little kids. He is an activist who came from Atlanta and says he has been fighting for justice just like this for years. He told me to Google him and look him up, and of course, the first thing that came up was a photo of him at a rally saying how he was passing on the importance of going to protests and marches to the younger generation.
Here.
Was with a woman in her 80s who sat out here every single day. We've been here 6 weeks. We've seen her every day. Our other reporter, Tristan Hardy, ended up speaking with her at one point, hearing her story. There's just a huge diverse group of people out here, just like Linda was just telling us in that interview, that there's people from all races, all different backgrounds and religions. Of course, with the religions, we've seen that this entire time with the Glen Clergy for Equity. They all come from different faith backgrounds. We have Rachel with the synagogue. She's a rabbi, been out here every day. Of course, different pastors. It might be also the same number of people who are out here when we had the 700 pastors and different demonstrators who were out here earlier this week. But we're going to give you a little bit of a look around, then probably toss it back to Keitha in a little bit. We come over here, there's plenty of on the ground. Right when the verdict was announced, I saw some people who were on the ground. It looked like they were in prayer, but they were really just on the edge, clasping their hands, said they were so happy they couldn't keep it to themselves. People were jumping up and down. Just a lot of energy, so much excitement over here. It doesn't really show signs of stopping from what we can see right now, but for now, we're going to toss it back to you, Keitha.